The last video for this week, we'll take a look at schedules. It'll be a brief introduction as we will look at schedules more in depth later in the semester. Today we will just learn how to create a schedule and how to place a schedule on a sheet. We'll begin by creating a wall on which we will place our new doors. The door command will pick a single flush 32 by 84 inch door and we'll place several of them on this wall. We'll change up the size for several of the others. And we can even use some of the openings that we loaded in an earlier video as our doors that we will schedule. As you can see, Revit has created the tags for our doors that will show up in the schedule. The important thing about Revit is that it's BIM, Building Information Modeling. That means we're not going to type a schedule and fill in all the blanks with information about the doors, because Revit already knows all the information we want in the schedule as information that's associated with each of these doors. All we have to do is tell Revit what we want to show on the schedule and to create one. So we go to the View tab, and from there we go to the Create panel and to the Schedules tool. When we click on Schedule, we have a drop-down menu, and we'll want to use the very first option, the Schedules and Quantities. The first thing Revit does is asks us which type of schedule we want to create. We're going to go ahead and create a door schedule. The next options that Revit wants us to pick are the fields that will be filled in on the schedule. You select them from the selection box on the left, and you use this arrow key to put them in the selection field on the right, which will show the list and in order the categories that we want to be shown in our schedule. So I like to start with family and type. We can do things like fire rating and frame material. We will want the mark, that's going to be the tag, the mark tag, or the mark number. We're also going to want the height and the width. There's the height, and the width will be at the bottom. And we'll rearrange these so we can highlight one and push it up or down so it'll be first or last in the schedule. Usually we like to start with the mark because that's how we'll associate the door with the door number. So we'll go ahead and do the mark, which will be these tag numbers, then the family type, and we'll probably want to do the height, the width and the height, followed by the frame material. Once we pick all the, usually we'll put comments at the very end. Once we finalize all of the categories we want in our schedule, we can say OK, and it'll think and it'll fill in the schedule for us. Now there are some blank rows because the doors didn't have some of this information associated with them. But you can see that it knows the mark, it knows the family and type of each door, it knows the width and the height of each door. We can go back to the fields and maybe we want to add the level that it's on, so that's easier to find if you have a big building and you have multiple levels. And it fills in the levels for us. Because Revit has information associated with each door, you can fill in the blank information either on the schedule or through the door itself. For instance, if door number 12 has a fire rating of 90 minutes, we can change it there, and it has updated it because a fire rating is a type parameter, so it updates all the single flush 32 inch by 84 inch doors into a fire rating of 90 minutes. We can go to our model and find one of these doors and see where that information is actually held in the properties. Well, we know that it's a type property, so we go to the edit type, and if we scroll down, we can see that the fire rating is 90. If we need to change that at some point in the project to 20 minutes, we can fill in 20 minutes here, apply that, hit OK, and go back to our schedule, and you can see that it has been updated to 20 minutes. Lastly, you can type in any comments on the schedule that will be associated with each door. We might want to say door number 13 is to be painted orange. And that's only associated with that door. Now, how do we put it onto a sheet? If we go to our project browser and we go down to Sheets and right-click, we can tell Revit to add a new sheet. It will ask us to select a title block, and the 30 by 42 is fine, so we hit OK. And all we have to do is drag the schedule over to the sheet and left-click. And that is how you put a new schedule onto a title block.